Almost half of the public believes that if you live with your partner long enough, you automatically become a common law spouse. But that legal status does not exist. This comparative bar chart shows exactly what happens when long-term couples separate. Married couples have extensive statutory protections to divide property and claim financial support. Cohabitant couples have almost zero automatic rights, regardless of how many decades they've shared a home. The only way to acquire those protections is to execute a highly specific legal contract with the state. Getting the state to recognize that contract requires you to cross a strict legal threshold. In order to do that, you have to clear two unyielding pillars of family law: formalities and capacity. Entering a legally recognized marriage or civil partnership is a high-stakes process. If you fail to meet the state's exact criteria, your relationship's legal standing can be erased entirely. Let's look at the first pillar: procedural formalities. Before any ceremony can happen, couples have to complete civil preliminaries. This means going to a local district registry office to formally declare your intention to marry. Once you give that notice, a mandatory 28-day waiting period begins. The state demands time to process and verify the impending union. Then there are strict rules about where the wedding can actually happen. Ceremonies must take place on approved, licensed premises, a rule that now permanently includes authorized outdoor venues. These venue laws are rigidly applied to everyone. In 2005, Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles planned to marry at Windsor Castle, only to discover the royal residence lacked the proper civil wedding license. To comply with the law, they had to move their ceremony out of the castle and into a nearby municipal building, the Windsor Guildhall. Even religious ceremonies that follow their own ancient internal rules, like Jewish or Quaker weddings, are still bound by the state's overarching civil preliminaries before the religious marriage is legally recognized. These administrative steps act as the mechanism the state uses to officially verify, track, and record the creation of every new family unit. The second pillar is legal capacity. You can follow every procedural formality perfectly, but the union will fail if the individuals involved lack the legal right to give consent. The foundational boundaries are clear. You cannot be closely related by blood. You must meet specific rules about where your permanent home is, your domicile, and you cannot already be married to someone else. The most significant modern update to this pillar is the Marriage and Civil Partnership Minimum Age Act of 2022. Historically, the law permitted 16 and 17-year-olds to marry, provided they had explicit parental consent. This timeline chart shows the elimination of the parental consent exception, replaced by a hard barrier at age 18. Enforcement is absolute. Arranging a marriage for anyone under 18 is a criminal offense carrying up to 7 years in prison. By removing parental discretion entirely, the law reclassified marriage as a right reserved for verified adults, prioritizing the protection of vulnerable children over long-standing tradition. When these two pillars are ignored or broken, the law responds by categorizing the marriage as either void or voidable. This animated diagram traces a void marriage back to its inception point and completely erases it. If a core capacity rule is broken, like bigamy or violating the Minimum Age Act, the marriage never legally happened. It is dead on arrival. A voidable marriage operates differently. If there is a severe flaw in how consent was gathered, through extreme duress, an incapacitating mental disorder, or an inability to consummate the marriage, the contract technically exists. Unlike a void marriage, a voidable marriage remains fully valid and legally binding until one of the parties proactively asks a court to annul it. The law uses this binary system to address different failures. Void status immediately stops fundamental impossibilities, while voidable status provides a targeted escape hatch for individuals who were coerced. These uncompromising rules of formation act as society's ultimate gatekeepers. They ensure the formidable financial and legal powers of family law are granted exclusively to partnerships forged through genuine, voluntary, and adult consent.